World War II, the most devastating conflict in human history, spanned 6 years and involved nations from across the globe. Central to the military strategies and battles of this vast war were the generals, leaders who commanded armies, designed campaigns, and shaped the course of history. This video explores some of the most famous generals of World War II, highlighting their roles, achievements, and legacies. Dwight D. Eisenhower, often referred to simply as Ike, was one of the most prominent Allied generals of World War II. He served as the supreme commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force in Europe. His most notable achievement was overseeing the successful D-Day invasion, Operation Overlord, on June 6, 1944. Eisenhower's strength lay in his ability to coordinate large multinational forces. He worked closely with British and other Allied leaders to maintain unity of purpose and strategy. His diplomatic skills and strategic mind helped to drive the German forces back across Western Europe, eventually leading to the liberation of Paris and the defeat of Nazi Germany. After the war, Eisenhower's leadership reputation helped him win the US presidency in 1952. General George S. Patton was known for his aggressive tactics, flamboyant personality, and deep knowledge of armored warfare. Patton led US forces in North Africa, Sicily, and across Europe, playing a critical role in the defeat of Axis forces in multiple campaigns. In North Africa, Patton revitalized American forces after early setbacks, and in Sicily, he led a rapid and bold advance that contributed to the Allied victory. Later, during the Battle of the Bulge in 1944, Patton's Third Army made a rapid maneuver to relieve the besieged town of Bastogne. Despite his controversies, including his outspoken nature and occasional disciplinary issues, Patton remains one of the most iconic US generals of the war. Often overshadowed by more flamboyant figures, General Omar Bradley was known for his calm demeanor and effective leadership. He commanded the 1st US Army during the Normandy landings and later took charge of the 12th Army Group, the largest American formation ever fielded. Bradley played a key role in the breakout from Normandy and the subsequent drive through France. He was highly respected by both his superiors and his men for his competence and care for the troops under his command. Field Marshal Bernard Law Montgomery, commonly known as Monty, was one of Britain's most prominent commanders during World War II. He is best known for his leadership during the Second Battle of El Alamein in North Africa, where he led the British 8th Army to a decisive victory over German General Erwin Rommel. Montgomery also commanded ground forces during the Normandy invasion and was involved in operations throughout Western Europe. Although he often clashed with fellow Allied commanders due to his cautious and methodical style, his contributions to key victories were significant. Field Marshal Alan Brooke served as the Chief of the Imperial General Staff and was a top military advisor to Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Although not a field commander like Montgomery, Brooke played a vital strategic role in coordinating British military efforts across various theatres. He was instrumental in long-term planning and ensured effective allocation of resources and manpower. Brooke's influence extended across British operations and was crucial in maintaining coherence in the British military effort. Marshal Georgy Zhukov was perhaps the most celebrated Soviet general of World War II. He led Soviet forces in several pivotal battles, including the defense of Moscow, the Battle of Stalingrad, and the Battle of Kursk, the largest tank battle in history. Zhukov was instrumental in the final assault on Berlin in 1945, bringing about the defeat of Nazi Germany from the east. His strategic brilliance, ruthless determination, and ability to adapt to changing conditions made him the Soviet Union's most effective military leader during the war. Marshal Rokossovsky was another outstanding Soviet commander. Despite being imprisoned during Stalin's purges in the 1930s, he returned to command during the war and demonstrated exceptional leadership at the Battle of Kursk and in Operation Bagration. Operation Bagration, the massive Soviet offensive in 1944 that devastated German forces in Belarus. Rokossovsky was known for his operational flexibility and his ability to conduct large-scale offensives with precision. He later held high military and political positions in post-war Eastern Europe. Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, known as the Desert Fox, was one of Germany's most respected military leaders. He commanded the Afrika Korps in North Africa and earned a reputation for daring tactics, quick decision-making, and humane treatment of prisoners of war. Rommel's maneuvers in the desert became legendary, and he consistently outmaneuvered larger Allied forces. However, logistical challenges and limited supplies eventually led to his defeat. He was later implicated in the July 20th plot to assassinate Hitler and was forced to commit suicide in 1944 to avoid reprisals against his family. Rommel's legacy remains complex. He was admired even by his enemies for his battlefield skill and moral conduct. General Heinz Guderian was a pioneer of armoured warfare and a key architect of Germany's blitzkrieg lightning war tactics. He led panzer divisions during the invasions of Poland, France, and the Soviet Union. Guderian's focus on speed, coordination, and surprise revolutionized modern warfare. He later served as chief of the German General Staff and tried to manage Germany's deteriorating war effort, though often at odds with Hitler. His writings on mechanized warfare influenced military thinking around the world even after the war. Field Marshal Albert Kesselring held several major commands during the war, including in the Mediterranean and Italy. He led German forces in North Africa and later conducted a skillful defense of Italy against the advancing Allies. Though ultimately defeated, Kesselring's defensive tactics in the rugged Italian terrain delayed the Allied advance significantly. He was respected for his ability to hold difficult positions and organize effective retreats. General Tomoyuki Yamashita of the Imperial Japanese Army became famous for the rapid conquest of British Malaya and the fall of Singapore in 1942, a campaign that shocked the Allied powers. Dubbed the Tiger of Malaya, Yamashita demonstrated an ability to execute bold and decisive operations. Later, he commanded Japanese forces in the Philippines, where he conducted a prolonged and bitter defense against American forces. After the war, Yamashita was controversially tried and executed for war crimes committed by troops under his command, though the fairness of his trial has been debated by historians. Though not a general, Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto was the architect of Japan's naval strategy, including the attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941. As Commander-in-Chief of the Combined Fleet, Yamamoto hoped a surprise attack would cripple the US Pacific Fleet and force a negotiated peace. Yamamoto was aware of America's industrial power and famously predicted that Japan could only prevail for 6 months to a year before being overwhelmed. His foresight proved accurate. He was killed in 1943 when American codebreakers intercepted and shot down his plane in a targeted mission. The generals of World War II not only shaped the course of the conflict, but also influenced military thought for decades afterward. Many of the tactics, doctrines, and leadership styles developed or refined during the war became standard in post-war military organizations. The war also highlighted the importance of logistics, coordination among Allied forces, and the need for adaptability on the battlefield. While some generals like Eisenhower and Zhukov were master strategists, others like Patton and Rommel excelled at battlefield command. Together, their efforts determined the outcome of one of history's greatest struggles. World War II was a war of immense scale, requiring leadership that could meet the challenges of global conflict. The famous generals of the war, whether from the Allied or Axis powers, demonstrated a wide range of leadership styles, from cautious planning to bold offensives. Their legacies are studied in military academies to this day, and their actions continue to shape our understanding of leadership, strategy, and the human cost of war. While some generals became symbols of victory, others of resistance or tragedy, they all played pivotal roles in a war that reshaped the world. In remembering their stories, we also remember the millions who fought, died, and lived through a war that must never be forgotten. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more historical documentaries.